Good morning, all. CamelbackTrading.org coming to you this Thursday morning, October 8th. We are looking at the SPY ETF's market profile here on Window Trader. Here's yesterday's range. Here's our overnight. Here's last night from 4 to 8. Here's from 6 a.m. this morning to here. So after the bell, we traded a little bit lower than settlement. And now this morning, we're trading firmly above settlement as we are looking to come out of an inside day to the upside. Very important. First and foremost, when you come out of an inside day, week, month, you go with that trade and monitor it for continuation and, just as importantly, lack of. So what does that mean? Well, this morning we're looking to gap higher above yesterday and the previous days, which means your next destination will be that incredibly visual 343.06 weekly high. And that weekly high was a weekly high where we looked above a previous weekly high and failed. And then from that point on, went down to the 319.80 level. So if we're able to get above 343.06 with acceptance, that means closing there. Maybe not today, but certainly by tomorrow, you would like to close above it. Well, then your next big destinations will be grinding to the all-time high. Pre-market volume right now, just about 600,000. So definitely less than yesterday. A lot of big news this morning. First, Morgan Stanley's buying Eaton Vance. That's huge. And IBM is up 12-13% as they are going to basically focus on cloud structure going forward. So some really big news. As far as the debate last night, again, I don't think the market really cared about it. You have both parties, nobody wants to answer a question that's asked of them, and then when they do speak about something, the other party just shakes their head saying that's not true. So we really can't get much out of it either way. Okay, let's go over destinations and a game plan for this morning. So the upside, right now we have 75 minutes prior to the opening. So I'm still going to use yesterday's high on both sides of the equation. So 341.63 is yesterday's high. Then we have 342.17. That's Tuesday's high. The all-important 343.06 weekly high. Now, if we get above that, it becomes a void. Next destination is 345.40, which was an afternoon rally high on September 4th. And then the next big destination is a daily high of 347.83. So you have almost a $5 void between the weekly high and the next daily high. So if you get anything going by the bulls, any acceleration, any trend day up, this market can move. Above that, we do have a big trend day from September 3rd that would have to be taken back. For the downside, and right now my pre-market high is 343.17, which is right above that weekly high. For the downside, we will use yesterday's high, if we gap higher, of 341.63. Then we don't have anything until our pre-market low, overnight low of 340.62. Then we have the double distribution, the bottom of it, the single prints, 340.23, get filled at 339.88. And then afternoon pullback low, 338.51, and daily low of 338.09. So here we go. Here's where context is incredibly important, where people will be screaming gap rules apply. Depending on this gap, if we're to open, so yesterday's high is 341.63. If we were to open around 342 and a quarter, I don't have a problem taking a call play as my risk reward is less, right? My risk is less. I'm out if the gap fills. My reward is at least trying to attempt to get up to that weekly high. I don't mind that. If, however, in the next hour, we open at 342.50, 342.75, I do not want to be a buyer up there because we have to see if they're going to defend the top of a 4-week balance, right? Balance rule. We have gap rules in play today, and we still have balance rules coming into play, certainly for the weekly. Yes, the daily will be gapping higher, but the weekly is still in balance until we get above that weekly high. Very, very important context to understand. So, again, the call play, if it's a gap that's reasonable, which gives me room up to the weekly high. If it opens up around the weekly high, one of two things. I either watch to see what happens there, or, again, this is only for a quick play, or I would, because we're going to have a higher value in a gap, I would look possibly to take a put play to see if they defend that weekly high the first time. Again, you'll be knowing what I'm doing in my voice channel room if you're a member of camelbacktrading.org. If this gap fails and we get accepted into M, well, we know the history of M, then there's a good chance you'll also probably trade M's range, and then we see what happens at the bottom of the upper distribution. So you go with that trade, monitor it for continuation or lack of. So if we get a decent sized gap where I'm comfortable being long, if this gap never fills, well, then you monitor for continuation. You hold that long and see what happens at the weekly high. If it fails, well, then that's a lack of continuation and you're out of the trade. And then quickly on the charts, just going to show the weekly and the daily. So here it is, 343.06. You need acceptance. Again, if you just get above it and come back in, that's not acceptance to me. So between today and tomorrow, you want to close above 343.06. If you do, look at your next weekly high, the all-time high. You don't want to look above and fail like you did the week of September 14th. If you do that, then you're going to go at least rotate possibly to the bottom of this 4-week balance, which is the 328 area. And now on the daily, we are coming out of a 3-day balance on a gap above the 50, attempting to get, again, if you want to use this as a large balance, well, you're getting to the top of it. So you need to get acceptance. If you do, you'll have baby steps on the daily, but your ultimate goal is the all-time high. Should be exciting to watch, see what happens. Good luck trading today, and we'll recap at 4 p.m.